public service announcement. We know what you did.
Yeah,
It's me, Mario.
it's me, Negrio.
It's me, Luigi.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Luigi. Of course, you hear that in the background right there. Look, that's little
That's the
Styles.
princess right there.
That's Princess Styles, aka the sarcastic, the sarcastic of sassy. That's what she is.
and yeah, I know we had some things to change up and everything. El Capitan he's on vacation for a minute or two, yo. So we'll see him a little bit later. But right now we about to get into it, and man, is this going to be quite the show? I know. All right, for y'all in the A that's out there, enjoy this muggy weather because it's supposed to get ignorant tomorrow. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. Me and Ant, we up here sweating villages.
man. We sweating over here, sweating bullets over here.
Yeah. All right, man. Before I get to the people in the chat, get to my brothers on the panel, we got up top. You know him as the franchise. We got him here today. Ant, what up, man? Big Ant in the building.
Hey, I'm here, baby. Unfortunately, since Coach couldn't go on earlier, I gotta make an appearance somehow. You already know this, so I'm being there. You already know.
And two stage left, my main man himself. You got Six Man K, aka Pie May. What's going on, Six Man?
My palms are getting wet, sweating bullets. Most folks don't know that song.
Hey, K, we're trying to say that moist.
Moist, moist.
Boy,
What's happening?
Oh man, let me get to the chat. we got in pole position. We got King Treyway. What's going on, man? We got Deshaun Caswell. We got D Coleman. Salute, and we got Make Way Sports. What's going on? Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, man, we dropped this on Saturday afternoon, but hey, let's get right into it. Now, we already know, y'all have heard the big news, so I ain't even got to jump into the sports news. But the topic is for this afternoon, Julio Jones announces his retirement from the NFL. Now, um, if you've been seeing
It,
a
I,
lot of people on Twitter, a lot of
interesting.
people on Instagram, TikTok, it's even on Threads. They have been pushing that retirement. And while it's while it's in certain instances it has mixed feelings, I mean, we can all agree that he was one of the greatest, wide receivers that we've seen of our time, man. I like I said, aside from all the other stuff, the dude did what he did. Now, I'm gonna start it off with K Styles. And K Styles, I'm about to put some numbers up for these people too, man, so they can understand just what type of you know player he was and everything for y'all don't know, and some of y'all youngins out here, everything. Go ahead, Kay.
Well, let's start it off like this. For those that may not have remembered when they officially had drafted Julio Jones, that was one of those gambles, one of those trade up gambles that Thomas Dimitrov made. I mean, especially around that time where they were trying to change the identity of the offense from being that smash mouth, run first play action offense to try to be more open. Now, Julio was a gamble for the simple fact that most people said he couldn't catch.
Hmm.
But as it plays out later on and career wise down the career, it was one of the biggest gambles that paid off for the Atlanta Falcons.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now, taking the feelings of how everything ended. Just look at the career for what it was. The career for what it was something that was unprecedented. As you know, before he left the Atlanta Falcons, or before he demanded out of the Atlanta Falcons, he had the best yards per game average of a career than any wide receiver in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey man,
And to add to that before I get to Ant, you see right here we got his stats up on here. 13,703 receiving yards. 914 receptions, 66 touchdowns. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All Pro. And the thing that I've been seeing lately is, they had him on there and it was like, oh well, not now they want to compare, his career to, AB. Well, you got to understand something. AB still playing, so of course his numbers are going to continuously go up. And if you look at it from what it was at Julio Jones' height of his career, AB wasn't even in the conversation. He wasn't even in the conversation. Let's be real. Y'all can, yeah. It's amazing to me how people like to add what I call after stats. You want to compare a guy after a guy retires to a guy that's still playing. Where was those numbers when they were still playing together?
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
No. When Juan said that AB is still playing, yeah, he's playing. He playing for the Saskatchewan Straight Jackets. That's what he
Yeah,
played for.
yeah. He playing with the Saskatchewan Straight Jackets. But you gotta look at it right about, not just get a man his flowers. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Because y'all got to look at it. Dude was damn near unstoppable, if not for his hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
Name me one cornerback, one safety that shut him down. Name me one, and I'll
The
wait.
only
You can't do it.
the only corner that I remember that had a leg up on him was what's that dude's name? Not Xavier Rhodes.
I know
What's
you
that name?
talking about that. They gave
The
him
one that
a
played.
run for his money.
Yeah, the
I,
one that played for the Vikings.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want
That
to
was
say
probably like the
Xavier.
only one that could keep pace with him. They gave now mention out. We said gave him a run for his money. Who
Right.
shut him down?
I mean, like you said, 96 yards per game for an entire career in Atlanta wasn't really much stopping.
No, not really.
Nope.
And the man, the man had impeccable body control as to why he is coined he had the best catch in the NFL in the Super Bowl as far as the wide receiver is concerned.
Okay, Southside said it was Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah.
I was getting him confused with Xavier Woods, the
Okay.
safety.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why I was kind of apprehensive about it.
But I mean, like I said, he did his thing. He did his thing. Like I said, I wouldn't take nothing away from him. Like I said, everybody gonna have they fucked up moments. Everybody gonna have they fucked up moments. But for the most part, Julio was that dude. He was that dude. So, and I mean, you go ahead and give us your take on that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. You can't
Mm-hmm.
take him away from him. I mean, he's put up every number that you can think of. I mean, if he would have stayed healthy, you could argue he would have over 1,000 receptions.
Yeah, easy.
That's ridiculous. So, I mean, to even think about that's crazy. So I think, I mean, it's undeniable that he was the best wide receiver to ever put on the Atlanta Falcons uniform. Period. Hands down. He's the first ballot. I mean, there's nothing that you can say or not say, about what he did on that field. He put it all out there on the field. You can't take it away from him. But when I'm not gonna. Everybody know how I feel about how he left. I'm gonna leave that alone. Look,
at least for right now, but yeah, at least for right now, because right now we're giving you how great we think he is. My bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to elaborate on that for
Yep,
those that may be slow.
Yep. That's it. Yep.
I mean, yeah, because like I said, one thing about it, despite what how players ended their careers or how players whatever, we always gonna give them their flowers, man. We not gonna take away. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know it's gonna sound hypocritical, but I don't like Justin Fields. But if Justin Fields did his due and he retired, I'm still gonna give him his. I can't take away what the man did, but I just don't like his asses. That's another topic for
Period.
another.
Point blank.
Yeah, right. But yeah, but I mean, you gotta think about it. Them, especially them 10 years, the man put up highlights.
Yeah.
The man put up highlights. I mean, what you want to say?
One, and some of those seasons, we were putrid. We were straight trash, and he was still putting up highlights.
Look, I can remember that. I remember that one game we played Tampa, and that's when Jameis Winston was still playing. Oh my gosh, Julio picked apart that Tampa defense. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Just terrible.
Like I said, Julio's greatest attribute as a wide receiver was the simple fact that he ran every route as if he was going to get the ball, even if
Every
he knew
time.
he wasn't getting the ball.
Yep.
Right.
And that's kind of one of those. That's kind of one of those mentalities for a wide receiver that you don't see as often.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as him, he didn't have a lot of tails in his route running.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Absolutely.
You didn't know when he was going to get the ball and when he wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were so afraid he was going to get the ball, like you said, it did wonders for the offensive total. But well, hold on, wait a minute. Did somebody just say something about the Saskatchewan Straight Jackets over here?
Yeah, talking about the straight jacket being a sleeper team.
No. The Sarasota Straight Jackets. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, Sarah, man. But you know what? Another thing that at least I had to give him credit for, at least with him, announcing his retirement, he gave Matt Ryan his just due. You know what I'm saying? I had to, when I was listening to it with a side eye, but I'm like, all right, okay. He gave Matty Ice his just due, because I'm gonna be honest with you. You and Matty Ice, bro, y'all had it. Like we used to always say, Matty Ice was just throw it up, and wherever he put the ball, Julio was there to get it.
It was like you said, when you think about quarterback wide receiver duos, they're always going to be right up there near the top, like you said, behind the Joe Montanas and Jerry Rice and Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. I was gonna say Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swan, but we ain't gonna go that. We ain't going that far. We're not gonna go that far.
Don't do that.
We're not gonna go. We ain't gonna go that far. But like you said, as far as those type of duos, like you said, the Matt Ryan Julio connection, like you said, it was that. As much as people talked about what the Mike Vick experience did for the Atlanta Falcons, that Ryan Jones connection, it sounds like a damn dating show. The Ryan Jones connection.
Yeah. Instead of bringing you out flowers, they bring you out rutabagas.
Hmm. Like you said, we don't talk about a lot of the games where the offense did look dominant, but the defense looked like absolute shit.
For
Like you
real.
said, they were the identity of this Falcons team for a long time, but unfortunately, they didn't have the complete team to really reap
They
the
do.
rewards.
Right.
I, I know on a couple of games where our offense will go down and score a touchdown, our defense will get right back up, and then our offense will have to go and win the game. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, do people really understand? I want people to really think about when Ty Gurley wasn't supposed to score that touchdown. That wasn't a shot at him. That was a shot at how putrid our defense was because they knew that we cannot stop anybody.
No, the game that hurt my heart was when we played Green Bay. When we played Green Bay, after beating the snots out of Green Bay to get to the Super Bowl, we turned around and ended up playing Aaron Rodgers. And our defense was so bad. Aaron Rodgers was laughing. Like he was throwing passes that that shouldn't have even existed in the NFL. He was laughing. Our defense was that bad. He didn't even try. They was whipping our ass to the point where it didn't even matter. And I was like, I was like, what happened? So that was the saying where Matt Ryan would put up 40 points, and they would score 41 because we couldn't stop nobody. But I mean, hey,
Yeah, because
that,
those were the teams where, and like you said, I just go back to that Super Bowl year, 2016, 2017. We averaged about 30 to 31 points a game on offense.
Mhm.
We gave up 28 points a game on defense.
How about that?
So it's just like you said, that was one of those things where if the offense was off, the team was most likely was gonna lose.
yeah.
So
Wow. Croc is talking something like last year. Look, that
Don't do that, Crockett.
we you know what look, that's we can't blame Matt Ryan for that. That's milk dud head coach.
We're not even gonna go down that road.
Nope.
No.
D Coleman talking about the Ryan Jones connection sound like a right wing pocket.
Yeah.
Oh man.
that
Say
shit
God
that shit
improve
sound
it.
that shit sounds like a new stock.
Yeah, we got that Ryan Jones stock. Yeah, it went up by NASDAQ went up by 15 points. Yeah. But since everybody is here and everything, make sure if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. But we gonna turn the page because this right here really need to be said. We didn't got all the pleasantries out the way. Yeah, y'all thought it was gonna be all roses and
Push the
jam.
goddamn button, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's about time. So, and this is courtesy of one Pi May. Bam. Now, y'all need to go ahead and put your feelings in your pocket and come to the table. Was Julio Jones the death of the Atlanta Falcons? Oh, you thought it was gonna be sweet? No. And since this was K Styles' idea, I'm gonna let K Styles run point of it. K Styles. D Coleman, you already know what time it is.
Yeah, you know what it is.
He said that's the perfect line. We celebrated Julio, but let's talk about
Talk
Quinn
about quick
Torres now.
tours.
Right. Let's get down to the nitty and gritty.
Yes. All
Now,
right.
now, was he the death of the Atlanta Falcons? I wouldn't say necessarily he was the complete death, but he was the catalyst and where the team started going downhill. Why are we saying that? Not because of his play on the field,
Nope.
but you have to look at that standpoint after 2018. Now the contract stuff started coming into the play, and this way you
Mm.
started getting a lot of disgruntled stuff going on. So based on the contract that he never played on, it was the small little that was the small caveat that caused the salary cap destruction of the Atlanta Falcons, in which yeah,
Mm.
it was Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
Mm.
Those are two guys. Because like you said, just like I said before, they went from a smash mouth team to be more of a wide open team. That was a strength, but yet it was the team's weakness because they took the focus away from getting a balanced team and being more focused on being a high flying team.
Right. Now,
So,
before,
so
before,
in that hold on, let me say it one more time. Let me get this out. So in that aspect, we went away from what Falcon football was, and we started gravitating towards what the NFL was. And I'll land
mm,
on that.
okay, before we finish up, what up, True?
What's going on? What's
Oh,
happening? What's happening?
what up, cuz? How
Uh-oh.
you doing?
There go Trump.
Oh man, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Trying to fight off this little bug a little bit. It doesn't hit me again. Other than that, I'm
Oh,
all right.
all
Oh,
right.
shit. Give him that
What up,
1-2
Auntie Pam?
punch.
What's going on? I'm glad you could make it in. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, it's interesting, and I'm gonna let you go. And it's interesting though that the further on in his career he got, the more the more entitlement set in. As far as who he was, what he was to the team, and what he was supposed to do. Now, Ant, I'm gonna throw this one over there to you because I'm pretty sure you got a lot to say about this.
Man, look. The the further on his career went, the more his divaness came out
Mm,
because he started practicing less and less and less and less, and then the more the further his career got, less he did on the field. That's
Start
not a
hanging
shot
out.
at what he was.
Start hanging out with amigos more and more and more. Okay, I'm sorry.
I, bruh, thank you. He started acting like a punk ass bitch. I mean,
right.
there's no way I can't say it any other way because that's what he and it showed whether he was bombarded uh by Shannon Sharp or not. He know. Come on, bro. What the fuck did you think that was gonna happen on national television?
Mm-hmm.
He was gonna ask you a soft ass question, bro. Come on. He did that.
I, I mean, it's like Auntie Pam said, it wasn't so much he left the organization; it's the way he left the organization. Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
I still
That's
have a problem with that. That's still that still bothers me to this day because Arthur Blank will go to the depths, to the ends of the earth for any person that he brings into that organization, and you spat in his fucking face. That's what
mm-hmm.
I have a problem with.
Yep, yep. Cuz, what you got on this?
Well, I mean, hell, I can echo. I can echo what Ant said. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna shit on him. We're gonna celebrate him. Uh, how he walked out the door, I think we all know. It was kind of foul how he walked out the door. But we gonna guess what? We're gonna take the high road on this. I guess.
What high, bro? I don't know the number.
Oh, the bridge to the high road is broken.
Yeah, we ran a boat into it. But I mean, honestly, it to me, it's not so much shitting on him. It's just pointing out that there's a disturbing trend when it comes to great players nowadays. There's a disturbing trend where, and like we said before, once a player either gets greatness beat out of them, or once they realize that they moment with whatever organization they're with runs its course, then what they do, they look for the money. We're gonna call a spade a spade. Some of our beloved players, when they feel that moment has passed, they out the door. They want their money. They want their money. That you know what I'm saying? It's sad because we've seen it with Grady. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it with Julio. Not so much Matt. Matt was more or less principled. It wasn't about money at that point. But when a lot of them players on that 2016 team, 2016, 2017 Falcons team, once that moment was squandered, a lot of them was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So anything after that, it became, okay, I need my money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And what kind of got a lot of us was, bro, you could have had this conversation with the owner behind closed doors.
Right.
See, I'm gonna be honest with you. As personable as Shannon Sharp is, as marketable as he is, he don't give two shits about who get what. Long as that show making numbers, he don't give a shit about that.
Why would
he? Everything for him has already come full circle. He in the Hall of Fame, his brother in the Hall of Fame. End of story. Anything outside, I don't give a shit about that. So why do you think he would care about him making sure Julio is character is intact when it comes to, is he happy with the organization? That's something that Julio should have handled with blank by himself. So the way you went out shows how you felt about the organization at that time, and what lets me know that you felt like you was not going to ever get a ring. I don't care how many teams you went to, because here's the deal. You weren't chasing a ring because the teams you went to weren't Super Bowl bound. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. Even when you went to Tampa wasn't guaranteed to get no Super Bowl at the time.
Nope. They did it a year or two after that.
Thank you. You weren't Super Bowl. None of the teams that you went to were Super Bowl bound. Not to my recollection, anyway.
Let me comment on this. D. Coleman, I get that. We're not, look, what Shannon did was some bullshit. But come on, bro. He's a reporter at first. So we all know that reporters are shady as shit.
It's not up to Shannon Sharp to uphold any kind of business congruency with the team that he doesn't play for.
Nope.
It's not his job. It was Julio's job to say no comment. I ain't gonna speak about that, and we gonna handle that behind closed doors. That was his charge. Julio's charge. Yeah, it's not Shannon Sharp's job to ask nice questions. It's Julio's job to keep stuff in house. because that was the man that just paid you $66 million to the detriment of the team to keep you happy. To include the man that just retired before you, he gave up his salary just so you could have that money. He restructured his contract. So what are we talking about?
He gave you money on top of a contract.
And right, and you noticed this, and I give you case in point. Myles Garrett went back to Cleveland. He know he ain't gonna get no ring out of Cleveland.
No.
But he figured, if I'm gonna go back, give me my money. Look at Cincinnati. Cincinnati ain't in no current situation to be no Super Bowl contenders again. Not right now.
Not with their defense.
You see the players they hired. They can't even get rid of Trey Hendrickson. This is what we're talking about. When players know that they are probably not going to end up with a Super Bowl ring, a lot of times they're looking for the bag. They're looking for the bag because players that think they got a shot, they ain't chasing the bag. They want whatever team that's gonna put them in the best position. And if it's the team they started with, they're gonna stick with it. That's right, Raymond. This suck. What's going on? But yeah, anybody that thinks that their career is not gonna be for long and they're not gonna get the championship, they're looking for money. They're looking for money. It's only two ways they look for money. They look for money when they win, and they look for money when they figure they're not gonna get nothing. I mean, look at Kirk Cousins.
And like you said now, Kirk Cousins talking about he wants to get cut just so he can get paid by two organizations.
Right. Exactly. That ain't happening.
If he knew he could get a Super Bowl ring out of a team, he'd be more willing to be a team player. And Noah E said yes, Julio left because he couldn't win because of the Falcons front office. Well, let's look at it. He couldn't win not because of the front office, but because of the coach that was here. See, a lot of y'all got to understand. Everybody was on board to win. The Falcons were on board to win that game. But because of said stuff behind the scenes, we got screwed out of a Super Bowl.
But I'm interested by that comment right there. Because he said we couldn't win because of the Falcons front office.
Right.
What particular moves was made by that front office and why you say that?
That's a good question.
I would love to know this.
Yeah.
But you said something, Juan. Like, look, Cleveland don't even know who their starting quarterback gonna be because Deshaun Watson gonna be out for majority of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who their backups are. They're probably not good enough to even start.
Oh! Right now, they starting quarterback right now is Kenny Pickett.
Like I said, they not no. That's not gonna cut it. He couldn't even cut it.
You don't like Kenny Two Gloves?
Oh hell no, we're not doing that.
But see, you know what, Kev? It's kind of hard to beat Kenny Two Gloves when both of them left hand.
Shut up.
You know what I'm saying? But when we talk about the front office, you got to understand something. Blank don't coach. He's the owner. Rich McKay at the time was operations. He don't play football like that. Thomas Dimitroff was the general manager. I ain't seen him play liquor football. Only thing spiky that's going around was his hair.
And them glasses, that's about it.
Yeah. And if you're looking at Shanahan, well, Shanahan wasn't even playing for the Falcons. He was playing for the 49ers before he went there.
Well, Shanahan looked like he got drained by a succubus here these days.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. When you say the front office, you got to understand it was a certain set of people. It wasn't the entire front office. Because here's the deal: had we won that Super Bowl and he'd have left anyway, would we be having this conversation? No. It wouldn't have mattered who was in the front office if we'd have won that Super Bowl.
But here's the interesting thing right here. And K. Ritchie said this. He said, "I can't wait till they start the podcast." So I guess Julio gonna be doing podcasts after this. He said, "I wonder if Julio gonna tell because he felt like they shitted on Dan Quinn."
Mm-hmm.
So do you think? So do you think that was the move that pushed them out because they got rid of Dan Quinn, aka the coach that kind of let him do whatever he wanted to do?
Yes.
That's part of it. And the reason why I say that's part of it because Julio stopped training. Julio stopped going to the doing all of the work because Julio felt he had a ride. Julio felt that he was the man on the team. That's how he felt. He showed you what he thought about the team, and he showed you where he felt he was. He felt he was above the team because he was most of the time when stuff got squirrely. Who did Matt Ryan throw it to? Julio. So he felt he was the team. He felt I don't have to do what y'all do to perform how I perform because I'm Julio. The other half of it was he kept his eye on the league and who was getting money. And my cuz had his point. And then he had other people in his ear telling him, bruh, you had the best catch in the Super Bowl, bruh, but you ain't get no nobody. What's up? See, you can't listen to people that don't do what you do to tell you how to do what you do. I'm not gonna listen to a rapper to tell me how to play football when nigga you get on stage and scream and holler words people don't understand for money. Nigga, I get out there and put my life on the line. When the last time you knocked somebody out on stage trying to rap? And see, no, it don't got nothing to do with the defense being mid because offensively the team was putting up numbers. At that time when he really realized that, hey, my time has been squandered, 2017 broke a lot of players, bro. 2017 Super Bowl broke a lot of players. To include Matt Ryan. So if you listen to some of them when they talked about it, 2017 broke a lot of them. Devontae Freeman wasn't the same. Tevin Coleman wasn't the same. Grady Jarrett wasn't the same. Matt Ryan wasn't the same. Julio wasn't the same. They were not the same because that right there, that moment was their moment. And Julio kept his eye to the money, and he kept his eye to the fact that, okay, I can do what I want to do. Now, when they got rid of Dan Quinn and the Falcons was like, we're going to try to redo this so we can win, guess what happened? Now Julio had to go back to work. And a person that feels they've already arrived don't want to go back to doing no work. So he wasn't going to play for Arthur Smith either way. He wasn't.
I mean, hell, man. That statement makes no sense because even 2016, our defense was mid at best.
Right. Nobody thought we was going to the Super Bowl.
So what does that mean? Like, just because our defense was mid in 2018, oh, now I want to leave? Nah, bro. Miss me with that.
Every
because
team,
our defense was mid in 2016.
Every team has their moment where everything comes together for them. You hear Mike say it a lot. You can have all the pieces together, but you got to have a little bit of luck. Everything was there for us that year, despite the way the team was built. I mean, Kev, correct me if I'm wrong.
You got it.
That's the problem. Y'all got to understand. If y'all look at the season, Normally, if you look at the season when it comes to the Falcons, the way we won them games, the way we was running over people, that would have been normally for us. Not the run they went on, being the team that nobody paid attention to.
Nah, those games, most of those games were shootouts at that time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Most of them games were shootouts.
and that's the reason why I say that. Why do you think Julio figured he was the man? Because in them shootouts, 90% of the time, he was the one taking their heads off. He was the 50 cal. So when it comes to it, they were screwed out of their moment. And it takes players quite a bit of time to kind of get over that and get reset. That's why, if you notice, after 2017, the production started to decline. We wasn't getting back to playoffs anymore. We wasn't making no big mid-season runs. Matt Ryan was still, and Julio was still putting up numbers, but the production started to decline until it bottomed out in 2020.
Right.
And every year, Julio got more entitled. Every year, Julio started looking at the bag more than he was paying attention to the betterment of the team. And then you enter Calvin Ridley, and it's like, okay, well, I really don't have to work as hard now because I got somebody that idolizes me, who can run the routes. He ain't as big as me, but he can run the routes. So he literally took his job as being that dude or that number one wide receiver, and he was trying to make sure Ridley was doing what he used to do until he didn't. Right. And Miss Pam said it best. Julio had the case of the big head. And so he figured, hey, I'm the man. I'm the best one on the team. All right, Blank, I need my money. Why you think he held out? He held out the first time for his money.
You know what? Why? God damn it! This is why you my brother, bro. Because you led me right into what I was going to say. Okay, this is why Julio left. One is because Dan Quinn left out the door. Two is because Christian Kirk got paid.
There you go.
Because as soon as he got paid, he started feeling, I'm not. He's not better than me.
There you go.
Why is he getting paid more than me?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean,
because at the end of the day, right when like you said, right, remember, before Christian Kirk got paid, Julio had just got his contract extension, maybe like I think it was like maybe 2 years, 3
yes,
years before that.
Yeah.
But the problem with that contract is he had an issue with it because it was a front loaded contract and all his guarantees were gone.
There you go.
See, he wasn't looking at the contract and per se. He was looking at the guarantees.
poor little team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said he stopped looking at the team and started looking at the money.
But like you said, at the end though, it was a lesson that was kind of learned that a lot of times you can be as faithful as you want to certain players, but you gotta be willing. You gotta be willing to part ways from when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, that was the second time Arthur Blank got burnt by a star player. Well, actually,
Yeah,
More than a couple times.
might have been the fourth time.
could have been.
Yeah, right.
But you're right, Kev. And think about it this way: if Julio was all about the ring or is all about that, and he still thought he was that player, why did his presence on other teams? Why did his presence when he went to other teams? Why didn't that elevate their team? Why didn't it elevate their team? Because his mentality was, I'm about my paper, not about the player.
Yep.
And you have to also look at the teams he went to. He went to teams that were predominant run teams.
I.e., less work.
Mm-hmm.
Why would if I'm worried about money, why would I go somewhere where I gotta work twice as hard? Y'all gotta pay attention to the move. See, this is why I keep saying, this is why I'm a master at being tactical. Why would I go to another team and work twice as hard when I missed my moment? Players that
Hey,
don't
send
think
send
that.
send 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 the link OG
Oh,
OG
I got it.
knocking on heaven's door.
All right, hold on.
Hi.
I got him.
But it, like you said, man, for like you said, the great career that he had here, and it ended on a sour note. Like you said, after that Super Bowl debacle, you could tell the energy. But you could tell, like you said, the energy of the team itself, they never recovered from it. And like you said, and that's just the unfortunate part about it. Um, let me see. Oh Lord. Uh-oh. That ain't me, y'all. That's not me. Said Julio should have teamed up with Mahomes instead of Tom Brady. I don't think it would have mattered. Hold on. My bad, y'all. My bad. My bad. Fire truck. But um, I think even if he would have went to Kansas City, I think you still would have got the same results. No. Julio ain't sending them folks. If he better not send them folks after me, because shit, I ain't got nothing for him. But look at the team we've assembled after Julio Jones. Could it have been a blessing in disguise?
I
You wait to
mean,
find out.
but let's be real, Kev. Julio, technically to me, that wasn't his smartest move because really, to be honest with you, if you were smart, if I knew I was a wide receiver and I figured I had missed my moment, but I still had an inkling that I may want to go after a ring, I would have stuck with the Falcons for the simple fact I had help. That's the whole point. If you are a diva and you're a smart diva, you want to do less work, put better players around you. You don't got to do as much work. You had Kyle Pitts. You know what I'm saying? You had Calvin Ridley. You had help. You had help. You ain't have to do no work. Because guess what? Who they gonna stop? You saw the rookie season Kyle Pitts had. You got a tight end just as big as your wide receiver. And think about it. Julio would have had an easier time getting the ball. All Kyle Pitts would have had to do was just do what he's doing now to be the clear out guy. Hey, Kev.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's all Dirk Cutter's fault.
Right. Hey, Kev, you send OG the link. He said it ain't working. I don't know what's going on with it.
Hold on. I got you. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing people got to understand. If Julio was smart, if you work at, it's like, all right, How many of y'all in there work at a warehouse or whatever? If you know you the best man on the floor right now, and you know that I'm the top dog, but I don't want to work as hard, what you do? When they bring some new people in there, what you do? You get them up to speed. Why? So that now you got people around you that can take the load off of you. Julio, Kyle Pitts would have took the load off of him. Calvin really would have took the load off of him easily. Now, Kev, I'm glad you popped again. You a manager at a warehouse, right?
Yeah.
When you the best man on the floor, and
Yeah.
you basically like knowing there ain't no ceiling, bro. I didn't hit my ceiling up in here right now. What you gonna do? You gonna hire some people to work just as hard, if not harder than you. Why? Because it take pressure off of you, right?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that's what being smart is. You already one of the most respected weapons on the team. You're getting you got another weapon that idolizes you. So he gonna do whatever you tell him to do. And then you getting a guy just as big a threat as you are, just a different position. Bro, I gonna eat that up all day. Hey Kyle, look, let's get together. We got Matty Ice. Look, let's go out here and terrorize. Those three would have terrorized the NFL for a good while. Because who you gonna stop? Even Shannon and them said it. It was like, you mean to tell me you got Julio, Kyle Pitts, and Calvin Ridley? Bruh, who gonna stop them? But it was more or less, in his mind, his moment had passed him. And he was looking at the bag. He was not looking at the big picture. He wasn't.
What? Yeah. What you got, OG? What's happening?
What's going on? What's happening?
Mr. Wild
Um, Matt, first off, let me say this. I don't, I don't hate Julio. I'm sourly disappointed. Um, Now with that being said, knowing what we know about him now, and some of the things that came out and some of the things that happened, uh, he had a Hall of Fame worthy career.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeping it 100. His faults were character, and his unwillingness to do the behind the scene works to keep himself in optimum tip top shape. We should have gotten at least 6 more years from Julio Jones, but that was taken away because his unwillingness to do the offseason work. And we all saw when he did do the offseason work, what happened. We went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So those things, those actions, and those results speaks for themselves. Um, is he first ballot? No. Uh, I think it's going to take him the same amount of time it took Art Monk to get into the Hall of Fame. That's what I feel. His last 3 years here and the 2 years following stained his career, stained his legacy. Um, it's gonna be somewhat hard to, later on down the road to have these who's the best to ever do it at that position conversation and include him without having a well type of attitude about it. It just that just is what it is with that particular book on Julio Jones. Did he have a Hall of Fame worthy career? Yeah, how worthy, that's up for debate. You know, but there's, you know, some games and some numbers that, you know, are gonna, you can't take away from him. He has some history making games. He put up some monstrous numbers. I mean, you know, but off the field and off season activities or the lack thereof is going to stain his legacy. That's always going to be the conversation. If he took care of himself, what could have been? If he showed up in off-season camps with Matt, we could have probably seen 2 or 3 more Super Bowls. And that's what that conversation is going to be.
And we got a $2 super chat from Terry Rux. Appreciate it, man. He said, hey, Torrey Holt isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. But it took a while for Isaac Bruce to finally get in there too. Hell, like you said. First, like you said, you think. Hold on, let me ask this question too. Do you think that a lot of the outside noise also played a part as far as that breakup of Julio from the Atlanta Falcons? You know, like you said, as far as them trying to put him and Matt Ryan against each other, and the drama of that, like you said, coming not only just from the celebrities that was, you know, in his circle, but also, you know, Atlanta media.
Well,
go ahead.
I'll quickly say, miss me with that Migo shit. Okay. This is squarely about him not doing the work in the off season. If we gonna have that conversation, you know what I'm saying, and before anybody's going to throwing these excuses out there, fuck that hanging out with the Migos shit. Okay, this is squarely about him not doing the work in the off season. Like I said, the results, the actions and the results tell it. The one time he came to camp in California with Matt, we went to the Super Bowl.
And also too, what's on the back of the legacy is you don't take money from a billionaire and walk away scot-free. They don't forget that.
That you took that dumbass advice from your agent. You shouldn't have signed that deal to begin with D Hop and Thomas and Keenan was coming up for new contracts. Right. Tyreek Hill, all them was coming up for new contracts. You signed that dumbass deal.
Right. Because here's the deal. Your owner is the owner of he's the head of the owners association. Your owner has the guy on the Falcons organization that was backing him up on the competition committee. See, you had more leverage playing ball with your team than you did going against your team. Because when it comes down to getting into the Hall of Fame, somebody still got to put a good word in for you. You gotta have the numerical credentials and all that, but somebody still got to put a good word in for you. And that's one of the things that a lot of people miss. And the way you went about leaving was another slap in the face to your owner. Like I said, you could have easily just took care of it behind closed doors. Your character would have been intact. Because even if you'd have left the team, you would have left the team as people the way they thought you were, not who you presented yourself to be. See, you presented yourself to be like, you ain't give a fuck. You already got your money, so I'm out the door. But not thinking that Yeah, you got to retire too, bro. And
Uh,
that's why I'm piggybacking off of what Sam said, because any player that thinks they still got a shot at getting the championship ring is not going to be so much focused on the bag. They're going to be focused on, okay, who can we get? If I can stay with this team, who can we get to help us win? Or what team can I go to that I can play and make a difference? You went to teams where you can sit down and showboat, and hopefully you get a ring by default. It ain't work out that way.
So, Sam, what do you think about the comment on the screen right here? I thought this was interesting.
the first sentence is flat out false. It's documented, bro. It's documented. No, his work ethic. No, his game day performances was the standard. His work ethic was garbage. It's documented, bro. It's documented. He only showed up for one of them. Matt was taking the team to Cali to work out for 6 weeks every offseason. He only showed up for one of those, and that was after 2015. And we went to the Super Bowl because of it. No, his work ethic was not the standard, bro. It wasn't. Because if it was, he wouldn't have the hamstring issues. He wouldn't have had the foot issues. He wouldn't have had the calf issues. So no, not no, but hell no. Y'all got to stop mistaking your on-field presence for, you know what I'm saying, work ethic. Julio's work ethic was garbage.
But what you're gonna see is this. Watch the development of Penix and Kyle Pitts this offseason. Watch the development. Now, what did I said this 13 weeks ago. 13. As far as the play. They gotta play like one organism. The only way you're gonna get better play out of somebody like Kyle Pitts with a person like Junebug, number one, they gotta have a relationship. Just like us. We hang together outside of this. We know each other's tendencies, temperament, and we know each other's skill set. So that when we come on these shows, it's seamless, even when it's chaotic. For one thing, Junebug said, I got to get on one page with Kyle Pitts. I got to get better. Meaning, I'm not above this man that I need his help from. Second thing he said, I'm taking these guys and we're going to go train. Why? Because, and Kev has said it many times, it's 11 men on that field. You have to know 10 other men's jobs, and all of y'all got to know each other's jobs in order to think like one. All I need to know as a quarterback is where you want it, how comfortable you are, where I throw it to you. If you tell me up, I got you. If you tell me lower, I got you. If you tell me across the middle, I got you. I have to know where you like it so that I can get it to you without thinking about it. Everybody else, block me or block for the running backs. That's it. Second thing is, the training camps keeps your body at peak physical condition. Because if anybody that plays sports know, you cannot go into a game cold. That is the first way to pull a muscle or mess up a ligament. You can't go in cold. That's not how it works. Because everything you do in training camp is muscle memory. So every NFL player that's on the field in the games, when you see them during the season, everything they're doing is reflex. That's why they say if you have to come into the NFL thinking, you're behind the 8 ball. That means nothing is done on reflex. You're not going to do it automatically. So if you're a wide receiver, you should know your route tree so good to where you just run it. I know where to throw you the ball. I shouldn't have to think about it. If you're a lineman, you should know where your position is and how to tackle and how to spin off of stuff. You should know that. You shouldn't have to think about it. So Julio would have improved tenfold had he went to all of those training camps with the guys, because guess what? Even when the game got squirrely, he would know where he's supposed to be, and his body would know where he's supposed to be. All the time. Look at the great players. You think Aaron Donald stopped practicing? As much as we gave Grady Jarrett hell for leaving the way he did, do you think he stopped practicing? Even when he had his knee hurt, he was still practicing like he was going to go up against Aaron Donald every time. Matt Ryan, as beat up as he was, practiced all the time. Why? Because guess what? If you don't practice, your body will fail you at some point. I mean, Kev, Sam, correct me when I'm wrong.
It's truth. It's truth. You know what I'm saying? Repetition breeds, you know what I'm saying, good systematic, you know what I'm saying, chemistry. It does. You know, when you get hundreds and hundreds of reps doing a thing, you know what I'm saying, with a teammate, it becomes second nature. Plain. When you get up to the line and you got your center in front of you, he's gonna look, take the line, see the blitz, call it out. If you see something different, y'all communicate it, you know what I'm saying, and you can maybe change the play or adjust the play, you know what I'm saying, with the skilled players, and you go through that in practice enough, it becomes second nature.
Now this question was Dre Harrison. He said, I'm playing devil's advocate. If Julio's work ethic was subpar, why did every receiver after Jones name him as a standard? Because of his play on the field. See, here's the difference, and we said this multiple times. Julio Jones was a great athlete, but he was talented. So what he did was he leaned on his talent instead of his work ethic. And when you lean on your talent and you don't put in your work ethic is strength training, is conditioning, is continuously working those muscles and repetition so that they're at their peak performance all the time. Because when you're in the off season, there are gaps where your body rests and you're not playing as hard. Well, when you don't play as hard, your muscles don't work as hard. So when you get back on the field, your mind is like, yeah, I can still do it. Your body's like, bro, we ain't warmed up yet. So your talent can't speak for your physical athletic ability when you're not practicing consistently. Because just like you forget, your muscle memory can fall off. So everybody behind him is looking at his talent, what he's doing on the field. You can't see if his muscles get tired. You can't see if the hydration in his body is not right. You can't see when muscle knots are going to cause cramps and sprains and stuff. You can't see when his ligaments are weak enough to just let go. You can't see that. All you're seeing is the performance that his talent is showing you. Matt Ryan has to keep training because he has to keep his mind sharp enough to be able to pick up on stuff. Because guess what? Every year that he stays in the league, there's somebody that's a little bit faster. There's somebody that's a little bit bigger. There's somebody that's a little bit stronger that's going to come at him. So him being a veteran and having seen everything, his mind got to be keen enough to say, oh, that's a new cat right there. He going to try me. I'm going to show him how I can get around it. So if you're a wide receiver, running back, tight end, you know what I'm saying, or what have you, you got to be physically ready to go to pair off with your talent. I'm going to see your talent on the field and be like, dang, that dude's the standard. Not knowing that in training camp, you sitting on the sideline eating ho-hos and drinking Gatorade. You're not physically ready for the NFL because there's going to be somebody more hungrier than you that's going to put you to the test. And that's usually when your body gonna show up and be like, bro, we ain't ready for this.
So
I why his hamstrings let go.
so by looking at what the Atlanta Falcons had in Julio Jones as far as that wide. Because the thing with the Atlanta Falcons have a history of very productive wide receivers. This is Atlanta Falcons history, and like you said, Sam is better equipped to talk about some of the wide receivers that came before Julio, that came before Roddy, that came before, Terrence Mathis.
Yeah. Alfred
So,
Jenkins, Alfred Jackson, Gats.
Mhm. Hey, Kev, let me get this right quick. He said
good.
Roddy slacked off too, but you couldn't tell when he was on the field. We just have to agree to disagree. The man ran a 40 on a broken foot. Running a 40-yard dash in the combine has nothing to do with on the game on the field play, because that's running in a straight line. That
Hold
that
Look,
on.
look, look,
no,
look, let
because
me.
hold on, because I'm breaking down. That's running in a straight line without anybody coming at you. A broken foot, you running in a straight line may be easy for a while, but when you got guys just as fast as you coming at you, then you have to pivot. That broken foot means a whole lot more. The thing is, again, you are looking at Roddy's talent. The talent, your talent is always going to be top tier. Your talent doesn't drop off because you don't practice. Your talent is where it is. It's just how you perform. But at the same time, your body will shut down on you at the most inconvenient moment due to lack of strength training, conditioning, and repetition. That's the thing. The Roddy. I never said Julio Jones' talent dropped off, nor did Roddy's talent drop off. If Roddy had a broken foot, fine. T.O. had a broken leg. His talent didn't drop off. You got to understand too,
Look,
when you're playing, your adrenaline is pumping. So a lot of that's going to compensate for whatever ails you until you sit down. But at some point in your career, you're going to get met with somebody that's going to try you, and your body's going to give out. Your talent can
look,
keep going.
look. I always say it like this, and I've been on record to saying this for one line for since we started this. A 40 time in the combine doesn't mean a damn thing.
Nah, they don't.
It doesn't mean nothing. I mean, like you said, you may look at it like, okay, that dude has straight line speed. But if you look at a lot of the wide receivers that come into the league, like you said, unless your job is to run 9 routes all day, that 40 time doesn't mean a damn thing.
It don't. It doesn't.
But
You
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 know,
but what
uh,
I what I wanted to ask as well with this is too is, do you think that the Julio situation is kind of like a lesson learned for how the Atlanta Falcons have to, handle Drake London
mm-hmm.
and stuff? I know we kind of getting off the subject at hand, and probably giving away a topic in itself. But do you think the Atlanta Falcons kind of handling Drake London the way that they are as a team?
well,
Do you
I
think the
don't.
Julio Jones situation is kind of like a lesson learned on what they need to do?
I mean, well, it was lesson learned 2.0. It was just Michael Vick all over again with it just in a different position.
Right. That part.
Um, you know, and y'all need to stop reaching, man, but to make excuses for Julio Jones' lack of a work ethic. Then stop being disrespectful to Roddy White, because you didn't hear any stories about Roddy White missing practice. You didn't hear any stories about Roddy White, you know what I'm saying, not doing extra workouts. How many times you ever heard a story about Julio Jones being the first one to practice, last one to leave? I'll wait.
Nah, Roddy White was a different cat.
You see what I'm saying? Now, if you want to talk about a standard, yeah, Roddy was a fucking standard because he did the work. Okay, and if he wasn't playing, you knew he couldn't damn play. It was some real shit that could. It wasn't no superficial shit. It wasn't no thigh bruise or a strain or no bullshit. None of that superficial shit. All right. You know, let's keep it a buck here, man. Let's stop making excuses for Julio Jones' lack of a damn work ethic. It is documented. It is documented. Okay, so let's not do that. And holler about Roddy. No, that we're not gonna do that.
It don't matter who trained him. Julio, it doesn't matter who trains you. It's just like when you go to a job. It doesn't matter who trains you. It matters how you continuously work. Once somebody shows you what to do, it's not my job to continuously show you what to do. Once I show you what to do, it's your job to maintain that. Doesn't matter.
Julio Jones
Y'all can deflect and put whatever you want out there. Julio Jones' job was to make sure he was at top physical condition, mentally, physically, off and on the field. That was his job when nobody else's. That's his job as an athlete. That's what he get paid for. That's what he get paid for. You can't ask your job for an advancement on work you haven't done. That ain't how it works.
Julio Jones disrespected the code that was set by Terrence Mathis, Joe Horn, Roddy White. You know what I'm saying? And it gets down to him and what he do. What did he do? Did he keep that standard going? You know, with the total package? No. We're not gonna sit here and act like he did.
And characteristics ain't got nothing to do with it either. Characteristics is just who you are. It's application. I can have good or bad characteristics all day, but if my job is an NFL football player, whatever position it is, and it's my job to train on and off the field for the game, and I don't do one of those aspects, I'm doing myself and my team a disservice. Doesn't matter what my characteristics are. Doesn't matter. If you are not putting in the work or the application thereof, doesn't matter. I know, like I said, we're not taking nothing away from him being an athlete. We're not taking nothing away from him for what he's done and how great he was. But like Sam said, you can't argue black and white. It's on videotape. It's in black and white. He did not do himself any favors.
Nope, he did not. I mean, we ain't gonna act like he had a high drop rate either. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna sit here and try to rewrite the script or rewrite, you know what I'm saying, the movie that happened. No. See, that's what y'all do. When we go to talk about y'all favorite player, and pointing out the things that tainted their legacies or you know what I'm saying, tainted the job that they did, then y'all want to get in your feelings and want to go pointing the finger and say this person didn't do this, that, and the third. No, because that's not what's in question. That's not what's in question.
Jerome said Quinn started that babysitter shit. Terry Rubisky used to be on there.
Yup. Facts.
I mean,
facts.
Hold on. So what you saying? Terry Biscuit used to be on their ass. Remember, Terry Biscuit was gone literally right around after that Super Bowl year.
Yep.
Yeah. He was one of the five position coaches that got ran up out of here after that bullshit in 2016.
Number one, because he was there that could tell what happened. See, you gotta pay attention to stuff. When somebody, when there is a conglomerate of BS and everybody get let go, it's because they don't want nobody left there that can tell the story about what happened. That's why they let them all. It wasn't the fact that they weren't good coaches or good staff. Y'all know what happened. Y'all can't be around here telling what happened.
Because Terry Robisky is one of the top 3 receiver coaches in the league. Stop playing.
You got a $2 tip from Fred Butts. He said Julio just wanted the fame. After a while, yeah. Players have 2 different mindsets. Before they ever get a taste at a championship, that's what they crave. That's what they work towards. When they figure their moment has passed, they want their money. They want their money. They want to be compensated because they look back on their career like, I don't have much time left. Look what I sacrificed for this game. I want my compensation. Only a player that thinks he can get to another Super Bowl is going to keep having that same mindset until when they realize the moment passed, that's when they look for their money.
Like I said, I ain't got too. Yeah, like I said, I ain't got too much more to say on this topic right here. What you got, Juan?
I mean, it's cut and dry with this though. You know what I'm saying? It's cut and dry for everybody that just tuned in. You know what I'm saying? We gave Julio his flowers at the beginning of the show. You know what I'm saying? He, like I said, he's gonna be one of the Atlanta greats, regardless to how he stepped out. But right, like Sam said, his when he comes up in certain conversations, yes, his credibility is gonna come into question. But you know what I'm saying? At the time, at the height of his career, nobody was doing it like him. That's just what it is. You know? But
Hey, yeah. What you got?
what we got coming on next, man? Because I know we this Saturday evening is gonna be full of shows and stuff like that. We got a lot going on. Kev, what we got next? Because I know your show come on at 9, right?
Yeah. Truth and Main Event are going to be talking some wrestling talk. That's going to be coming on about 7:30, and we got the STS coming up tonight. We're pretty much going to be talking about Matt Ryan and how he's going to be working with Michael Penix this off season. Kind of like talking about the official passing the torch type situation. Did a short on it earlier. So
That's legacy. That is legacy.
Listen,
yeah.
dude, I'm laughing because I burnt some toes today on the short concerning Matt Ryan. To all those that are, reeking that garbage about rather having a certain other former player as a mentor to Michael Penix. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop.
No. I'm gonna talk about that comment tonight as well, and why I say that Matt Ryan is a better mentor for Michael Penix than what Michael Vick would have been. So that's part of the conversation in itself.
Yeah.
I hate to tell y'all this. Yes, he's black. Yes, he's left-handed. But he has more similarities than Matt Ryan than Vic. I'm just gonna say that right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I'm gonna be honest with you. When somebody takes you under their wing, 9 times out of 10, and you can think about this in any situation, 9 times out of 10, they see something in you of them. You don't get
But you also,
mentors.
but like I said, you also have to remember Matt Ryan was high on Michael Penix in this draft anyway. So, like I said, like I said, that's gonna be our discussion tonight that I got for the STS.
I'm just gonna say, one can teach you how to be a quarterback, and the other to show you how to open the trunk. Just gonna leave it at that.
You know what?
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
But look, man, make sure you like, share, subscribe to, the six man K, you know what I'm saying? OG Sam, aka Mr. White. you know, Mr. Tactician 78 on YouTube. Like I said, we got some great shows coming for you. And I know Sam gonna bust y'all over the head on Monday, starting the week off. So, like I said, be ready for that. But as always, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, it's been another Sports Endgame. I'm gonna give y'all afternoon back. Make sure y'all stay tuned. All right, we got some good stuff coming. With that, hey, this also said no OG, no more Matt versus Vic debates. All I'm gonna tell you is this.
Well. I will say this. We still, like I said, you said no to OG about Matt Ryan versus Mike Vick, but we do still have kind of like a part two to that debate. But it's not. But like you said, it's not involving the two quarterbacks itself. We're gonna more so focus on the media fanfare behind that. So y'all stay tuned to that.
Look. All I'm gonna tell you is this: when y'all see Penix, and I'm gonna put this out there: when y'all see Penix start putting up Matt Ryan numbers, you'll thank him. But I'm gonna let that marinate. We'll let K Styles stew that later on. But we out of here, y'all.
And don't
yes.
forget,
Hold up. Before we go, yes. Hey, look, Auntie Pam in the building. Like, make sure you check the ladies out. The Ladybirds at AFN on Tuesday night. Make sure you support them. Like I said, Miss Maggie, Auntie Pam. Like, look, show our ladies some love, man. Make sure you support them and everything. Thank you for tuning in, Auntie Pam. Like I said, hey, we making moves over here. That's all I can tell you. Now I'm about to go eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, boy.
Later.
Peace.
Bye, nigga.
Run, nigga, run.
Run, nigga, run.
Put
your eyes back in your head.
Popped out like flavor.
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.